Hello, everybody, and welcome to an all-new edition of In the Spotlight and the Attack of the Spotlight podcast. That's right. You can now catch us on video on YouTube and Facebook, or just the audio on all of your favorite podcasting devices. We've got a very special guest, and I'm going to let John tell you all about him.
Well, this is John Horton speaking here to you. We have managed to get independent actor and producer Michael McGlynn on the show tonight. Michael has been in tons of independent movies. He's been in some of my favorite ones, like Bloody Summer Camp. He's been in Go Away. He's been in the Slasher Nurse movie. We are so happy to have you here with us, Michael. Hey there. How are you doing?
Oh my God.
Welcome.
Oh my God, I'm doing great, guys. Also for having me.
I'm glad you made it. It was a little cut and dry. We might even edit part of that in the end credits here, because watching you run in a panic was fantastic. That was comedy gold. But we're so glad to have you. And you're a little running rampant. So everybody relax, and we're gonna have a nice, relaxing little interview. How are you doing?
Oh man, I am doing great. It is Friday. We've got a beautiful 3-day weekend ahead of us, and honestly, there's so many awesome, great things on the rise. I've already started off the new year with a big bang. Got to work on an awesome film set with a longtime friend online. We've got to work on some other projects. He made his own movie and invited me out to be a part of it, and got to meet him in person for the first time, and it was so awesome. Actually, if you don't mind, I'll give a quick little shout out to Sean Thompson and The Hive. The whole cast and crew were absolutely amazing. So sweet, so warm, just an absolute blast. Like I told Sean, thank you for having me, man. And I would come out again in a heartbeat.
Good deal.
Well, what can you tell us about this project that you're allowed to say at this point?
Well, I'll go with the safe route, and I'll just go ahead and just say a little bit about my character. I play a detective, and actually, I even look a little bit like my Ledbetter from Slasher Nurse. I had to grow the mustache back, but this time to make the wife a little happy, because she hates the mustache. She's made some really bad remarks to me. I think the first one I grew for the Slasher Nurse role, the two biggest ones I remembered was she said I either look like Freddie Mercury on steroids, or I look like Burt Reynolds with a tapeworm.
Well, being compared to Burt Reynolds at all has got to be somewhat good. So
yeah.
They both are stars in their own right.
Exactly. I'll take either one. I've been called so much worse.
Yeah, same here. My wife has got several choice words from me. So none of them are of the caliber of Burt Reynolds or Freddie Mercury.
Oh,
more like asshole.
Oh, that's from her.
Can you sing at all? Can you do a "We Will Rock You" at all?
I mean, I can, but I want us to keep our viewers around.
Okay. we probably get pulled off for copyright anyway, so probably a good idea that you don't.
Yeah.
Oh, Freddie.
So please tell us. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to go ahead and jump into Slasher Nurse since you had brought it up. Slasher Nurse is probably the best movie so far that has come out of Slasher 15. I'm a huge fan of Slasher 15. I've loved everything from the very first Slasher Nurse all the way up to present time. How was it working on Slasher Nurse? How did it feel bringing it all back? Were you involved in the first two?
No, I wasn't. Funny enough, I was actually thinking about talking about this because I haven't brought this up in a while, but honestly, Slasher 15 really has been there's no other way to put it. It's been a Cinderella story for me. It really has. prior to doing all the acting thing, I was a mixed martial artist. I was a Muay Thai kickboxing specialist. I was actually someone who went out and trained a lot of the UFC fighters at the facility out in Vegas. I would get called out and flown out, and I would spar with a lot of them to get them prepped for fights and stuff, and just get a lot of beatings in. And then unfortunately, after I was getting ready for the NAG of like the national grapplers a tournament, and I always go with guys a lot bigger than me, and I was able to slap an armbar on this guy, and he didn't do anything wrong. Like he did everything right that you're supposed to do. He got up and he put all the pressure down and just stacked me, is what they call it, and it put so much pressure on the back of my neck that I heard like a pop, and then yeah, I felt fine at that time, but then the next morning I woke up, I lost all feeling in my right arm, and it was it was almost 24 hours later before it came back again.
Wow.
Of course, that scared the bejeebies out of me. I went and had MRIs done, and pretty much I was told the same thing by all the doctors. If you want to keep coaching, you can, but you need to hang it up as far as competing, and just go the coaching route. And I did try that for a while, and I did like it a lot. And I still do it from time to time. Like the gym I did most of my training at. I go in there every once in a while to help out whenever they need me to, because it's always been like a home away from home for me. But it just wasn't that same level of satisfaction, fulfillment. And then my wife even said, well, you used to do a lot of acting and stuff, and you always had on that bucket list. You always wanted to go, you always wanted to do like a indie horror film, and you watch a lot of indie horror. She's like, I think you might actually be good at it. And just by sheer luck, my next door neighbor was originally supposed to be a part of Dave's return of the Slashers, his second one. And he said, I can't make it, but I'll give you his information if you want. You can contact him and everything, and see about if there's like anything available. And so I hit up Dave, and I told him like how much I'm a big fan of indie horror, how I'd love to be a part of something like this. And Dave goes, hey, I'm really glad to hear all that, but we actually wrapped up filming the Return of the Slashers. I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 months. So I just missed him by a little bit. I was like, oh, but then that day was like, well, if you want, you can audition if you want to. Like our next film is going to be a camp slasher. So if you want to try to audition for that, and I was going to, but then I saw him with his crowdfunder open, and I saw, well, wait a minute, I could buy a perk just to be killed in the film, so I don't have to worry about maybe it can. I can just buy a part, get in there, and I can still make it a part of my bucket list. And then I bought it, and Dave actually hit me up and then said, well, hey, I'd like to get to meet you, because I see you actually live in Culpeper, and I don't live that far from you. He's only about like a 35-minute drive away from me, and it's like, would you be interested in coming out here so we can meet you, and it might give me a good idea for the character I might write in for you and stuff. So I went out there and met him, and we actually just hit it off pretty well. And then he's like, hey, actually later tonight I'm having the wrap party for the people for Return, and a lot of them are going to be in Blaze Summer Camp, so you could come out and meet a lot of them. And I did actually. I met Spartacus. I met Christian. Christian Jensen, Wayne Townsend. These were all people who ended up being a part of Blaze Summer Camp and stuff. And I got along really well with them, hit it off really well with them. And then we started. We did our first script reading, and Dave gave me the script, and I had no idea how to go about this. And I went a little bit like how I am now, but I kind of went just a little over the top.
Yes.
I guess I don't know what else to say on that one. And I did my first lines during our script reading with everybody, and the first lines in Blaze Summer Camp was like, all these brand new faces, how exciting. The moment I said that, everyone just stopped and started laughing. And of course, I'm here thinking, oh my God, I messed up. They're all laughing at me because I really messed up. Oh my God, this is so bad. And then I looked up at Dave, I'm like, I'm sorry, is this wrong, Dave? And Dave, you just see Dave going, no. Keep going. and it took off from there. Dave actually ended up liking my character, and at some point, after he started getting a little bit of me on film, he actually decided to expand my character a little bit more, and he gave me a few more lines and a few more scenes, and then before I knew it, I was like, wow, I'm actually kind of a nice little part of this film now, actually. And then after we got all wrapped up and stuff, I was, Dave actually approached me. He goes, "Well, hey man, you're done and wrapped up filming." And of course, back in my mind, I'm here thinking, "Oh crap, man! Like here it is. I'm getting the talk. Like it's been great, man. Thank you for being a part of this. But you're all wrapped up." And Dave actually said, "Well, you've been working really hard. You're the first here on set almost every day. You're the last to leave set every night because you're organizing everything and cleaning up, make sure everything looks nice. So the camp people are always happy." And he said, "How would you like maybe consider coming on and being my producer?"
Wow.
Yeah, and of course I jumped on in a heartbeat because in the back of my mind, like, oh, that means I get to stay, so I get to stay in Disneyland longer. So, of course, I did it, and then my wife Jamie actually just started handling a lot of the catering, and then she came on set and just started helping out a lot, and then I think it was very shortly after that, Dave was like, "Hey, do you think your wife wants to be a producer too?" And I'm like, I think she does, actually. And Dave and Amber brought me and Jamie into the fold and made us producers, and we've been with them ever since. And I mean, God, like, and I want to make it sound like that's just it, but it's like talking about this again because I haven't brought it up in a while or talked about it for a while. Like looking back, it's like wow, like just even the movies, like that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, it's just like all the cons the four of us have traveled and gone to together to help promote. Going all up and down the East Coast, like New Jersey, the Carolinas. Pennsylvania, Maryland. We've done so much traveling together, and we've been doing this now for almost. I think we're tiptoeing to almost 7 years now. I mean, I'm sorry. It's just like it's just like it all just started clicking me. Like I'm thinking back, like, oh wow, we've spent a lot of time together.
Yeah. No, that is awesome. That is awesome. We actually have dabbled in Indiegogo and crowdfunding ourselves. Had mixed results. So seeing somebody that did it and not only proved successful, but proved so successful that they're like, okay, be a producer, be all this, and keep going up the lines. From there, did you do other Indiegogos or not necessarily Indiegogos, but any other crowdfunding films that you paid for? Did you keep doing that, or did you at that point just get offered different roles naturally at that point, or was it a mix of both?
I would say at that point, like Dave really jump started me. Dave, and that's kind of like a rule of thumb. Every film I acted with Dave. Dave always offers to give me a day rate like all the other actors. Because I am an actor too, and I always say every time no. I don't want to be paid because I wouldn't be where I'm at right now without you. Like, you're the one that took a chance on me. You took a perk buyer and you took him from there to make him a small role into a, one of a big part of the movie. Like, to not only that, to make him a part of your team. It's like, I could never do that ever. And then as far as for other people, it's like, yeah, I always work for other people, but I always try to help out the crowdfunders, whatever ones I get hired to, just so I can show my level of support, to let them know that, hey, I'm also happy to be here and stuff. Because a big part of it is just supporting and just letting everyone know that we're all in this together. And not only that, like, you want to take a chance on me, I want to let you know how much I appreciate it.
That is awesome. That is very awesome. And it was great hearing that story about how you got started with Dave, because just seeing your guys' interaction, like on Facebook when you guys do your live feeds, I would have thought you guys were like buds from an early tender age, not just meet by chance on his second movie. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, it's just like even I'm still in shock and all about like just you look back. I mean, like because like I agree with you too. Getting back to about slashers, it's like Dave has always allowed me and Jamie to watch the movie before it goes to the premieres and stuff. Like, we get to all hang out, sit together, watch it, and we get to see you see a little bit, and also make sure there's not any little last minute things that maybe want to do this or maybe want to do that. Dave actually kind of like when he got done editing, he was like, guys, I'm done editing the film. I just watched it. I'm not gonna lie, I wept. And I was like, oh. And of course, like, oh, great, that sounds awesome. So when are we going to come and see it? And he goes, you're not. You're going to have to wait to the premiere. You can't watch this until you see it on the big screen. And at first, I was so mad at David. And I know Jamie. I'm sorry, Jamie is my wife, by the way. Jamie and I were both just like, oh, come on, like, don't feed us this malarkey. But then, we accepted it. We bit that bullet. And we waited until the premiere, like over in Winchester at the Alamo. And I'm actually glad Dave actually did that, because seeing it for the first time on that on the big screen, and I agree with you. The love that went into that movie, like in the blood, sweat, and tears, and just to see that final product the way it came out. I mean, I am still in shock that we made something like that together. Like, I mean, it really felt like the ultimate best indie love letter, like to all the old iconic 80s and early 90s and mid 90s slashers. I just felt like we just did a really just awesome love letter to that. And we did it on a $70K budget, which, I know it sounds like a lot, but to get all the locations we got, the hospitals, the churches, and to get all the celebrities, to hire them and get them out and have all that handled too. It's like we really had to get very inventive with everything. From just trying to get all the locations, the scheduling's down to a perfect T, but even getting those absolutely perfect gore kills that Amber does, which is just beyond absolutely amazing. Yeah. She never ceases to amaze me. Like, her effects always blow my mind. And so I mean, yeah, I mean, even I'm really surprised about that one. I know it's not out yet. The premiere's not out yet, but I will say I did get to watch an early screening of Bloody Summer Camp Part 2. Yeah. And John, I know you're a big fan of Bloody Summer Camp. Obviously, Dave will absolutely murder me if I say anything about it. So all I'm going to tell you is this, and I've been telling any of my other friends who are fans of the first one. If you like the first one, I really think you're going to really, really enjoy the second one, because I feel like we took all the things that were really fun and great about the first one, and we really amped it up in the second one. And I think everyone's going to be in for a really big treat.
I am so excited for this to come out. I wish to God I could make it to the premiere, but I'm in Cincinnati, so that's a little bit of a drive.
Oh, no, it is. I know completely. My sister actually went to the University of Cincinnati.
Oh, cool.
When I was living up in Northern Virginia, I used to do certain trips in the summertime, because she would stay and do because she worked for the arts, and she would stay over the summers and do plays and stuff. So I always drive up there at one point. But no, I know that drive, and it's one thing if you're going on a little vacation. A movie premiere, even I have to admit, I'd say you're a little crazy for that kind of dedication.
I'll throw this in there real quick. My wife, she would push me to do that drive because she wants me to drive to West Virginia so that we can eat chili dogs. But honey, there's got to be another reason why we're going. I'm not just driving 4 hours for chili dogs.
There's an A&W in every town, so I think you're fine. I don't think you need to go to West Virginia for a chili dog.
I'm just going to throw this out there. West Virginia and Winchester aren't that far away from each other. Get on the road early enough, you can get that dog right before the movie.
Oh, boy. I have to start thinking now. Don't tempt me, man. Don't tempt me.
I mean, we're all going to be there, and what you see with us, is what you're going to see in person. I think that's one of the things, a lot of people who come and meet us for the first time, either at the cons or things they actually laugh, we actually were afraid that everything we see online was just a shtick, but seeing y'all, no, we can tell y'all are really exactly who you are.
That's one of the things that has been really impressing me because I've been going to some of these horror cons, and when I went to the first one, I went to one in Houston, and it's huge. I mean, they take up an entire first floor of a hotel, and you're walking and you're walking, and there's rooms over here and there's rooms over there, and you know, and there's police everywhere. And I'm like, okay, making sure that we're all okay, because what kind of group is this? What are we getting into? And I'm like, everybody seems really nice, even though they look like they could kill you in the back room. And I went up to one of the cops. I said, "What's the feel here? What's the worst thing that's happened?" And he goes, "These are the dullest things we do." And he goes, "Nothing happens." He's like, "These are the most uneventful things that we do. Like we enjoy coming here because we know it's going to be fun, and we have just as much, and they enjoy looking at people walking around in the costumes and seeing the celebs." And they said, "This isn't work. This is just fun. These people are genuinely cool." Everybody seems, they put their, I'm sure a couple of them have egos that, hard to get over. But for the most part, it seems like everybody is so genuinely nice and so happy to be part of the community and to see the fans and relate to them that, me and my wife are both floored, and we're like, man, this is something we had been missing out on. And John's actually the one that got me into this. We were fans, and then he's like, there's this thing called crowdfunding, and you can get into movies. And I'm like, what? And they're like, no, that's going to be a bad idea. You don't want people paying to be in these movies. And then I started doing it, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so much fun. And it was the same situation. You never know where you can go up from there. And then, they're not going to let just anybody have big scenes. They still want quality. They're still looking out for everybody. And I've seen your performances. I've seen others, and it's just such an opportunity. And that's why I felt so good when you said that, you went in, you paid, you got to be a part of it. And then they saw how good you were and gave you more opportunities on top of that. And now, how many films you've been in now? It's like 20, 30 films.
Oh yeah, I think Uncle Fred's Monster Problem will, if I'm not mistaken, I think it will be my 26th or my 27th film. Plus, I also have another one I'll be doing. I'm working with Matt Cloud on his Barbara. Like it's a loose based sequel off the original Night of the Living Dead. Yeah. Oh, he's got some really awesome locations and stuff. And not only that, Matt Cloud actually is an awesome, really good creature design artist too. Matter of fact, obviously, he is so good that he is actually the one that drew our creature design for Uncle Fred.
Oh, cool!
Wow.
Yep. So talk about keeping it in the family, right?
Well, you and I have not crossed paths yet, but I think we may have been on a collision course that didn't happen. I got involved with Helvira's Haunted Asylum of Horror. And you were in, I saw that you were credited as thanks for that one. You were in the second one. And then there was also the Wicked Jack, and you were part of that. And I was just wondering, I was going to be one of it was one of those situations. I bought into a role. I was just I voiced one of Jester the Dread in Helvira, and he liked that so much, he was going to make me one of the leads in Circus Satanicus. And so I was like, oh my, this is a huge break. This is incredible. And it sounded like, in talking with Morgan, who has since unfortunately has passed.
Rest in peace, Morgan.
Yes. He was talking about trying to bring as many people back from the previous films as he could, because it wasn't a direct sequel. It was going to be the same characters, but in a different way. This is going to be a more serious thing. Had he spoken to you about returning for either Circus Satanicus or the upcoming Helvira film at the time?
Yes to both of them. Actually, I was originally slated to be in the second Elvira film, but his funding got so tight. Morgan just could not afford to get me out there and stuff. And to be honest, at the time that I was filming, that's right when I started this new job working for the military, and I didn't have a lot of leave to my name either, so it just didn't work out on that one at all. But I still showed a lot of support to Morgan. I actually I know I bought like the movie and I bought the poster, and I think I bought this special thanks for him because above all I want to let him know that there were absolutely zero hard feelings because I understand, you like there are things you want to do, but then there are things, but then there are also things that you can only do because of the budget you're given. And I know Morgan very I got to work side by side with him on the first Hellvira. Matter of fact, him, myself, and Sushi were literally for the majority of that. We were the entire cast and crew. Like,
yeah, I mean, I'm like, Gary, you two are the cover. It's like.
I mean, like it's like when there were scenes where when Sushi was just doing solo shots, I was actually behind the scenes doing sound for Morgan, so he could just run video and vice versa and stuff.
Oh, okay.
We were really that small type of unit, and we were that way for I think we did a 4 or 5 day film stretch. But honestly, it was such an awesome experience. And I really loved it a lot. And, Morgan really gave me a chance to like put my foot forward and because he even said like, I see the potential in you and I want to make, he goes, obviously I can't make you the top lead because it's Hellvira. It's about Hellvira. He goes, but I actually want you to be pretty much almost side by side. Like I want you to be her. I want her to be the antagonist, but I want her to be mainly your antagonist. And I'm like, that sounds like fun. And of course, Sushi did an absolutely phenomenal job. And actually, fun little fact too, Sushi is actually in Bloody Summer Camp Part 2.
Wow.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Yep.
It seems like this horror community family is very tight knit because it's amazing how many people I keep seeing pop up. I'm like, oh, I was in something with that. I never met them, but I was in there, and I was like, okay. So yeah, it's really interesting to see. And John was talking earlier about just before you came on, just how many he'll go to the clubs or the fan conventions and just see you just look around and you're like, well, that person was in this and this person was over there. There's the 6 degrees of separation feels like it's 1 degree at this point.
Yes.
Oh, it really is. I mean, this is such a small, tight-knit community. I mean, everybody ends up working with someone at some point. I mean, I can't really think of, there's not that many indie horror directors in the area around me that I don't think I've worked with at some point or time. Or at least I know on a somewhat personal level. And, this is one of those things where our stars haven't lined up yet, but, I know I would work for them, and I know vice versa. If the right part came along, I know they would definitely, hit me up too. And that's just the great thing about it. It's like, y'all get to spread the wealth.
That's one of the things that I really do enjoy is when I sit down to watch an independent movie, whether it's something I've bought from a convention or it's on Tubi or what have you, and sitting there watching the opening credits going, oh shit, I like Rick Germain. Oh shit, I like Chandra Rollins. Oh shit. I just seeing name after name that I've seen in something else. In fact, Kyle mentioned the convention that I went to that was huge. It was Gross Fest. I don't know if you're familiar with that one. But nothing but independent. No big name Hollywood actors, all independent folks like you. I don't know how well you can see that.
Oh, wow, you got quite a few signatures on there.
Yep. It started off with just Dave and Felissa. I've got about 7 other people just from that show. And they were in other shit that I've watched, like Killer Campout. And I'm like, oh, do I get them to sign this or that? Or, oh shit. It's great. It's one of the things I love about these independent movies is the crossover that you have with the actors and the directors and such.
Oh yeah, no, I absolutely. I mean, like myself, like because you mentioned Killer Campout, and like I said, myself and Shonda and also Jerome were all part of Killer Campout Part 2.
Yep, which is a fun one. Now, since I want to just ask real quick, since you mentioned Killer Campout 2, I seen you're credited as Gene Blackwell, but I know someone else was that as well. Were you Gene in a lot of the scenes, or how did that work? Was
Like there were just there was a different scheduling of like days for each one. Jerome was originally. Jerome was like Gene Blackwell for the movie, and myself and Jamie were actually on as the producers, to assist Brad like on this film. But then I forget what exactly happened, but then something happened where like Jerome couldn't make a lot of film dates, and then Brad asked me if I would be happy to fill in, for those dates. So I filled in for him, and at least until Jerome could come back, because like I even told him, like same as I told Dave actually to play summer camp, because I actually do play Devil Face, and and I told Dave, same day Dave's like, I might have to have you play Devil Face here, and I'm like, all right, yeah. I told Dave, like, Dave, you know what? I'm happy to do it, and wherever you need me help, I'll be happy to do it. Honest opinion, though, for what's best for the film, Brendan is by far the best Devil Face. And have him, use him.
yeah.
One thing I thought was interesting when I was reading through your IMDb, I was looking for who your inspiration might be, and I was thinking, which horror actor or actress, and it says Abbott and Costello, and I'm like, well, that's not what I was expecting. Would you mind elaborating?
Honestly, my very first horror film of all time was Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein. Obviously it was Frankenstein, Wolfman, Dracula, and all that.
Yep.
But it was just my biggest love letter too, because I love Lon Chaney's Wolfman, and also I'm a die hard Vincent Price fan. And even though he had a very small little thing, he was the voice of the Invisible Man at the very end. But it's just, I love the humor. I always loved Abbott and Costello. It was like, they were that perfect in between. Like, they had slapstick like the Stooges, just not as over the top as the Stooges, but they also had a lot of fun, witty play on words, like say like the Marx Brothers did. But the Marx Brothers weren't as like slapsticky though. So I kind of felt like that they were that really perfect mesh, like in between and stuff. And also I kind of became even more of a bigger fan, because like one of the first times I ever made Dave laugh on set, I used an Abbott and Costello quote from that. Because like I forget what was going on. It was definitely on Blaze Summer Camp though. But we're like, here, but Dave was like, I'm gonna need you to do this and do this for me. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna tell you right now though, that's sounds like it's gonna be about a 16-hour day, all said and done. And I'm like, and anything after that, it's overtime, because I am a union man. And he goes, a union man works 8 hours. Mike goes, I belong to 2 unions, Dave.
my wife, I'm gonna have to introduce you to. She first of all, Vincent Price is one of her favorite actors of all time.
Oh.
But what was sad is her father passed away not too long ago, and he was fighting cancer. But one of the things that she had me order for them, because it was during COVID, and I was here in Texas and she was in Michigan, and we couldn't fly back and forth because you had the quarantine. So she knew she'd be stuck here for 2 weeks before she'd be able to get back. And she's like, I don't know what the situation is. So she was there for months. And one of the things that got them through is they had me order them the complete set of Abbott and Costello. And we have that now here. And that's what they could sit there and they could laugh, and they, and it was just what they needed to get over the humps. So the fact that you and between that and Vincent Price, I think you would connect with my wife in a completely different plateau. So it was just nice that you brought that up, and I'm thinking, well, that brought up a nice story. So thank you.
Oh no, absolutely. Like I said, I'm a big fan of nostalgia and stuff, and like I said, Abbott Costello just it opened up so many doors for me, because like after I saw them, like that went to the Universal Monsters, and I fell in love with them, especially the Wolfman and the Creature from the Black Lagoon. They were favorites, and then of course, like I started watching more of them, and then I came to realize, like, man, Marvel, DC, you also call connecting universes. Universal Monsters said, hold my beer, because I realized, wait a minute, there's a connected universe right here already made.
Yeah, and it goes forever.
It does.
There's 8 over here, and there's 9 over there, and there's 6 over there. Yeah. I didn't even think about it, and then I just sat down once because I saw that they were releasing the pack, and I'm like, oh my god, I never connected how big of a universe that was. So yeah, there's nothing new in Hollywood. We're going back and starting it over again.
But you know what? In some ways, I'm kind of glad that is the case because I think it is why indie is shining so well that it is because indie is allowing us to go out there and break the norm and do the things that are not the normal things you would expect to see in the movie theater. It's not a remake. It's not a sequel to something that you've already had 7 or 8 sequels to. It's like this is different. For better or for worse, regardless, it's still something different. And I think that right now is a very big appeal for, I think, a general big movie audience is people just want something different. They want something fresh. And I think indie horror, actually indie filmmaking in general, because I've seen lots of non-indie horror films I thought were absolutely brilliant. And actually even ones that even had a little bit of a budget that were still on that indie level. I'm going to mention this one because it's actually one of my all-time favorites. It is still considered indie, though with a little bit of a bigger budget, obviously, but Man Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon.
Yes,
that
brilliance.
That was so much a brilliant movie. Just the thought that went into that movie. This guy did his homework and stuff, and getting to work with Nathan Basil on Bloody Summer Camp too, and getting to hang out with him and work with him and talk to him and also too Nathan. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely one of the nicest, sweetest guys. And oh my God, his acting. He was so on point. I was so happy with the round out what we had for that one. It really felt like, man, because not only did we get Felissa and Sheridan back for the sequel, but it was like, we need to go bigger. How can we go bigger on this one? I was like, let's bring the last drive in because we already had Darcy, from Slasher Nurse. And we really enjoyed working with her on that. She did a great job and stuff. And she even said that we actually, she was a little overwhelmed, a little bit, at first. Well, the fact that we actually gave her a good chunk of screen time. She's like, I'm usually used to having these small little bits here and there. It's like not anything like, this. And I was like, well, we think you're going to do great. And she did do great. I thought she did a fantastic job in that. And then to have her and Joe Bob, come together, for Bloody Summer Camp 2, and then round it out and getting Man Behind the Mask himself, to come and be a part of this. It was like, this is going to be an awesome one. And even more so, we actually got the same composer from Slasher Nurse.
Oh, cool.
He was just, he was just so darn amazing. It was also, by the way, big shout out to Frank DeMonu. And also, congratulations. He actually got married, somewhat pretty recently. I'd say probably no more about maybe 3-4 months ago. He just.
Oh, okay.
Oh, congratulations.
Yep. So, Frank, if you're watching this, congratulations, man.
One movie that I was shocked at because I started watching it the other night. Go Away, and first of all, because I've been doing a lot of these indie horror movies, and you can tell the different levels of the budget and where they put the money, and you're like, okay, some are better than others for sure. And I'm watching this one, and at first, there's a couple kills. And I'm like, okay, we're getting violent right off the bat. Okay, we're not messing around, but you couldn't necessarily see what was happening with the shots. So I'm like, well, they're saving money, so they must not have had too much of a budget. And then we start peeling someone's face off, and I'm like, oh my God, here we go. This is what they were saving from here. this, and I'm like, okay, that's how you do it, because you worked your way up, you save money where you needed to, and then you're like, we're going to make this look as freaking authentic as possible. And usually in these movies, you can tell it's fake, so you're like, okay, that's why they're fun to watch. And that one, I got creeped out. I'm like, good Lord, that looks like they're tearing this woman's face off. And I was like, oh my, and I was like, now that, like that deserves some applause right there, because that was a perfect use of your budget to say, this is something that we have to really nail, and we need to nail it well. And damn it, they did.
Oh yeah, no, like Amber just, like I said, Amber just never ceases to amaze me, like in her special effects. Like every time I thought, like, okay, this is really good stuff. I just don't know where you're going to go from here. Then our next film, all right, I take it back. You made a new measuring stick here, didn't you?
Wait till you have an opportunity to watch the new Slasher Nurse, Kyle.
Oh,
that is just fucking amazing.
Yeah, he keeps talking about this movie, and I'm like, well, I can't see it, so.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I won't give anything away, but I'm gonna say that there's just one torture scene. Like, you're gonna leave an impression on that. Like, I don't want to. I'm not gonna give anything too much away, but the person who was in the torture scene is a really big fan of the Terrifier series, and he actually had a small little role in the second one.
Okay.
And he actually, like, when he got to watch it, like, on the big screen, because he flew out because he wasn't gonna miss this, because, like, no, if this came out the way I think it came out, I was like, I'm not missing this. And after the whole thing was done, he was like, Mike is like, how much of a big fan I am of the Terrifier movies, and mostly because of like the crazy gore and the effects on that. He goes, yeah, it's like, I'm basing this on like the first Terrifier, because you all had very close to the same budgets. It looked like. And he goes, I gotta be honest with you, man, I don't think your effects were any less than theirs. And I'm like, well, that's an awesome compliment.
Yes, it is.
Like, I will gladly take that and run with that.
What would you say, or how your mindset would compare to going into a horror movie and having to be prepared for, any type of really killer, demented scene, or sparring with a UFC champion? How would they compare, and how do they differ?
Oh, well, funny enough, small little backstory. My very first gym I ever, fight team I ever joined, it was Team Lloyd Irvin's camp up in Camp Springs, Maryland. And I had my first Muay Thai sparring partner there. I mean, like, I already had a combat behind me, but it was more like boxing, kickboxing. I wanted to break into Muay Thai and really get more fundamentals. And I am not even kidding. I am not making this up. This is 100% real. My very first sparring partner was the former UFC light heavyweight. I'm not sure he even ever became the champ, but it was like he pretty much beat the former champ and was online, but there were contract disputes and he got delayed coming in for a long while. But it was Brandon the Truth Vera.
Mm.
And
wow.
Hard on me.
So where do you go with that? You're like, okay, this isn't going to be, it's got to put you in your place.
Oh, it was a good. I mean, the only thing I kept telling myself was like, Mike, remember, you're 145. He's at the lowest. He's 205.
Yeah.
So just remember, take that one on the chin and look at it this way. If you could take what he's given, any guy you fight in your weight class should be easy.
But did that in any way help you prepare for, taking on roles? Because there's got to be something that you carry from that and say, okay, whether you were frightened, whether you were intimidated, or whether this was your moment to shine and say, okay, it's going to be me and you. Do you take that same type of mentality into a movie when you say, okay, now I'm going to be working with these actors or actresses that may have done, more, or is it comparable in any way at all?
I gotta be honest. I think the filming is just better. Like I had this thing about me when I go on film sets. I cannot not be me. Like the good news is I'm actually usually just a big giant goofball. Like, and one thing I love doing. I love making people laugh because laughter is the best enjoyment in the world, in my opinion. I love smile, and if you can make someone laugh or smile, more than likely whatever day they're having, you might just made it a little bit better. And I'm notorious on my social media, so I post just stupid, horrible dad jokes. And I've had a lot of people hit me up like, Mike, you know what? I had a really bad day today, and I read that joke, and you know what? It kind of gave me a nice little chuckle and made my day. And I tell, and anytime I get those, I tell them the same thing. Well, guess what? You tell me that just made my day now, because that's kind of why I do it. I want people to have a good day. I want people to be happy. Life's too short to be miserable and to be sad or to be angry. I mean, obviously we all can be sad for tragedies and stuff, but just to be sad, just to be sad, it's like, life's too short. It's like, enjoy it. No one knows what's waiting on the other side. So what we do know and what we can't control.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, we've been talking about that because some days, because we're doing this podcast, and I think we're one of 600,000 new ones that launched last year alone. And we're like, okay, who the hell is watching this? And we do know a few people, for sure that, comment on a regular basis. And one of those guys was having a really, everything was going wrong, I guess, for them in 1 month. And they had just made this little comment about how some story we told was one of the funniest things that they had ever heard. And just knowing that story was in the middle of all of that made us feel better, because we're like, okay, there is a reason to this. We're not just entertaining ourselves. If there's a few people out there that because we're just there's nothing professional about us.
No.
This microphone that I spent money for, this is the only really professional thing in this room, not me. And we just like to have fun. We like to talk to to people that we've been looking up to, like you and the rest of the community. We're like, okay, these are people who make us either laugh, make us scared. That you generate feelings in us. And if we can do the same thing to anybody else, that's really what it's all about. Because we're not making a dime from this. We've been doing it for a year, nothing. And like I say, we're doing crowdfunding. I think and I have also done background work that I've gotten paid for. But I can tell you, overall, I've spent more money on hotel and gas and stuff just to be a small part of your world, because I love it so much. And him and I, John and I, for decades, have always wanted just a little piece of it. And having these opportunities to talk to actors and producers like you, it just gives us, a feeling. I mean, every time we're done with one of these, we wrap it up and we're like, oh my God, that was the best. And so the hour or two that we get to spend with you is always fantastic. So thank you for all that you've done and for taking your time out, especially with as busy as you were. For those of you who don't know, he was running 45 minutes late and came into the bat out of hell, running around the house. I'm here. And we were like, fine, it's fine. Relax. But, you had stuff to do for the military. You had stuff to do with your wife. And you still found time to spend time with us for a couple hours, and we can't thank you enough. So thank you very, very much. We appreciate that.
Now, this isn't goodbye yet.
No, it's not goodbye. I just want to throw in, before you leave, I just want to make sure that you understand what this means to us.
Oh no! Hey, you know what? I am always happy. Like I said, we're a community, and we're more than that a lot of times too. We're also a big giant family, and I do mean that, because in the sense of just like family, sometimes you want to give just some of the other filmmakers a hug, and every time you're like, usually why you wrestle, why. But that's family. It really is. That's family. We want to kill each other sometimes, and other times we love you and we want to give you big old fat hugs. I mean, that's just how family works. And honestly, John actually, I was going to bring up at one point too. John actually made my day one day because I forget what was going on. It wasn't a really, really bad day, but it's just one of those days where I was just kind of well, yeah, whatever. I'm just it's a gloomy day. I'm in a gloom mood. And then Dave hit me up and he was like, yeah, hey, we got a pretty cool new review on Slashers. You should check it out. It's actually pretty positive. And it was the review that John did for Slashers, and that actually was like, okay, I'm actually feeling a lot better now. Actually, because just like we said, we don't make money on this. We will give each other high fives if we even just break even, which doesn't happen most of the time. Because and don't get me wrong, we spend every cent of the budget, but then there's always those few things that God. We want to make that happen. We know we can make that a little bit better if we just had a little bit more. And then, yep, sure enough, let's just go ahead and dip in our pockets and let's make this happen. So like I said, so to hear those kind of things, it makes all that hard work and all that sacrifice you gave, and it's not even just about the money. It's about the time and the energy. You're away. Sometimes I know on Slash Nurse, it was, we did a straight 4 or 5 day film shoot, when we were at the cabin. And then the church, I think we went back to church. It must have been at least 5 or 6 days just to get all those right shots, all those right angles and stuff. And a lot of times we had to do it on the weekdays. So it was we went to go work at our full-time jobs just to get off work in our car and then go out there and film for the next 5-6 hours, wherever we could get in that night, just to try to nudge it down a little more and stuff. And like I said, just to go through all that, like I said, it's not easy. A lot of times it takes a toll on you. You definitely you feel beaten down sometimes, and you feel defeated sometimes. But then when it gets done and it gets made and it comes out and you actually hear and you're actually seeing people saying, I liked that. That was good. It puts everything back into perspective as this is why we do this. This is why we put ourselves through these ringers. It's for this.
This concludes part 1 of our interview with actor-producer Michael McGlynn. Come back and see us again in the next couple of days when we upload part 2. We hope you've enjoyed this episode, and we thank you for your continued support. Part 2 of the interview with Michael McGlynn will be coming in the next couple of days. Thanks for watching, and thank you, Michael McGlynn, for joining us.